Welcome today. Today we are going to see God Logic debating a woman who came, and she was very nice. The atmosphere, it was all about learning. He came there, or she came there, willing to learn what is Trinity. So let's go and see what he has to say.
Hey, Shireen, welcome back.
Hello, Avery. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good.
Good.
My question is mainly on the Trinity, if you don't mind. And of course, you know me. I don't curse. I'm not here to fight or anything. I'm just genuinely curious about a couple of things I've read. If that's okay. Okay. So there's parts in the. I want to first say. So you believe that the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, they are of one essence, but they are three persons. Is that correct?
Yep, three distinct persons.
Okay, three distinct persons, but they are co-equal, right?
Yep, co-equal in their essence. That's right.
Okay, co-equal in their essence. Mm-hmm. So when I've heard other Christians say like the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit beget from the Father. Is that true?
So the Son is begotten from the Father, and the Spirit is spirated from the Father. So there's a distinction between being spirated and begotten, but to keep it simple, they both come forth from the Father. So to keep it simple.
Okay. So I'm genuinely curious. So if they come forth from the Father or spirated, how wouldn't that make the Father like the original being, if that makes sense?
Yeah. So the reason why like it doesn't is because this doesn't happen in time. You get what I'm saying? Like it's an eternal action. It's an eternal. Jesus is begotten eternally. The Holy Spirit proceeds from the Father eternally. So it's not something that began to happen, but it's something that just is. It always happens. You know, so that's
like in perpetuity.
Exactly. So that's why it's not that Jesus or the Spirit obtain the nature that the Father has, but that they always have the nature that the Father has by virtue of them being eternally brought forth from the Father.
See, this is where I kind of lose it a little bit because I'm trying to understand, but to be brought forward from the Father or in eternity, perpetual, in perpetuity, wouldn't that mean that there had to be the Father first for them to be brought forth from?
So imagine this. So you know how, and this isn't a perfect example, but just an analogy to express like being brought forth. You know, like the sun in the sky. And how light comes forth from the sun, right? Now, as long as the sun is the sun, it's going to bring forth light, right?
As long as the sun is the sun, it will bring.
Yeah, as long as the sun is alive and working.
Yes.
Okay, so now we know that the sun is a creation, but let's imagine just hypothetically that the sun is infinite. Okay, that it's not created, it's uncreated, and it's infinite and eternal, right? So if the sun is infinite and eternal, then it would infinitely, light would infinitely come forth from the sun, right?
Light would infinitely come forth. Yes, of course.
Yep. So there wouldn't be a point in time where the sun begins to shine. It would always shine. Even if the sun is infinite, it infinitely shines, right? That light is infinite as well, right? So,
all right.
So similarly, the Father is infinite, and he's infinitely the Father. He's always the Father. So therefore, he infinitely brings forth the Son. Similar to how if there was an infinite sun in the sky, that infinite sun would infinitely bring forth light. So that's how something can be an infinite action, or what was the word you used? Perpetual action? Is that what you said?
Perpetuity, yeah.
An action in perpetuity. Right? An action that doesn't begin to happen, but it always is happening.
So like you're saying, basically, let's say the sun, and I'm not trying to say, the sun came into existence. Let's just say it was always like a metaphor for God. So the sun, if it existed, then it must by definition give off light.
Exactly.
Because is that what you're okay? Yep. That's, I'm trying to understand. I'm not trying to be.
No, Shireen, I know. You're asking honestly. Right. You're really thinking about this stuff. So, no matter how many times, if it takes, ask, analyze. I'm perfectly fine with it. You know, it's good. That's good. So yes.
So that would make sense. Like if it always, I think I've kind of explained it to myself in some way, but then where would be the Holy Spirit? Like,
right. So the Holy Spirit would be, let's say, so now we got the sun, right? That always produces that light, right? But then it also produces that heat as well, right? So as long as the sun is the sun, by definition, light and heat will proceed from the sun infinitely. So the same way, the Son and the Spirit proceed from the Father. They come forth from the Father.
Okay. So you are saying kind of like, go back to the analogy of the metaphorically, let's say the sun was God, and then light came forward as like the sun or like Jesus. And then you said there's the heat. So all these three things they could not exist without each other, without the sun. Okay. But I will think more about this because in a way I understand a bit, but then there's like verses in the Bible where I think Jesus says, I came to do the will, not of my own will, but the Father.
Yes.
So, if you could explain that to me.
Sure. So what we're dealing with now is Jesus, who shares the divine nature as the Father, also at a point in time took on the nature of a servant and was born in the likeness of men, right? So he took on a human nature, right? And so your will is a product of your nature, okay? Your will is a product of your nature. So because Jesus has a divine nature, he has a divine will that he shares with the Father and the Spirit. But also he takes on a human will because he had a human nature. So he also has a human will, right? And so what he does is that he submits that human will to the divine will, okay? So when he says that I've come not to do my will, but the will of him who sent me, and I submit it's not my will, but your will be done, stuff like that. This is him in the flesh, submitting the human will to the divine will. He's a perfect servant. So he humbles himself to the Father, right? And that humility is an expression of his attitude, his humble attitude and mindset, being a servant of the Father. But just because he humbles himself to the Father doesn't take away that he also shares the same divine nature as the Father as well. So I don't want us to get confused or conflate that just because Jesus submits to the Father, that doesn't take away from him also sharing the same nature, the divine nature as the Father.
Okay. I think the Trinity, I just want to keep thinking about that before I move on anywhere else, because that is a lot.
That's the big thing.
In a way, it makes, yes, it is, so, in your paradigm, I can definitely see how you would believe this, like the Trinity, right? So actually that makes sense. Like if there was, without, the way we went through this, all of those are the same essence. But they are distinct persons. Okay, because somebody told me this person was an ex-Christian or something, and they said, I believe that the Trinity was like the Hindu Trinity, but I actually looked that up, and it's not, because the Hindu Trinity, they believe Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. They are three gods, but
three separate gods, right?
Right, exactly, and so it's not the same.
Exactly.
You guys believe that it's three distinct persons, one essence.
Exactly.
I suppose, is there anything else you could tell me about the essence? Like what is, so it's just the essence of God?
Yeah, so basically it's the essential properties that make God God, right? So the all-knowingness, his eternality, his necessary existence, right? Him not depending on anything outside of him to exist, right?
All powerful, right?
Yeah, all powerfulness. So all of the properties, the omni properties that make God God, that's what we mean by the essence, right? And so these three persons share those same properties.
The three persons share those and co-equally because, it makes, I'm trying, sorry, I talk to myself quite a bit out loud. I think out loud. So
no, that's good.
In the moment. Sorry. I feel embarrassed because
honestly, I think more people should do that, Shireen. I really do.
You know, I've done this at work, and because if I get an assignment and I will talk to myself out loud and I'm like, okay, yes, this makes sense. Mm-hmm. And then my coworkers are you well? You know, and I'm like, oh yes, I'm sorry. But it helps with the thought process. But
Exactly.
So for today, that will be my only question. Okay. I'll think about it and marinate it, and then hopefully I'll catch you again because I don't have much time as well.
For sure. You're always welcome. Like, and it's funny because I always get you late. Like,
I know.
I'll be like, oh, Shireen's here, right? When I'm about to close, they're like, add Shireen. So I'm glad that I was able to get you today.
Yes. Thank you so much. Every time I'm like, I'll go to TikTok and then I'll be they're like, go to YouTube, he can explain there. And I'll go on YouTube and then the chat says like 20 people. And I'm like, oh. But today I had a few minutes and I had one main question.
Praise God.
And I'll write it down and I will try to make it. It makes sense. Like right now in my head, I just need to keep hold of that thought and try to, marinate that.
Absolutely.
But thank you both.
Of course. Thank you for coming. Anytime.
Shireen.
Thank you.
All right.
Well, we have just seen a wonderful session with this wonderful woman who has just come, and it seems through their conversation, she always come and she wants to learn a lot about Christianity because she is in the path of the righteous. I sense she'll become a Christian one day, because her only explanations are willingness to learn a lot in Christianity. She has changed. First of all, I saw a first clip on when he came and debated God Logic. It was like fighting, or it was like, let me say, it's like you trying to defend something that you don't have knowledge about. But God Logic stayed tuned because she was asking valid questions. But thanks to God, she has remained very loyal to her judgments, and she has judged a lot. She has passed a lot from comparing Christianity and Islamic. She the one that one of the clip she came and said, I will read the whole Bible. And when she read the Bible, she knew this was the right path. So please, if a Muslim comes with a willingness to learn and not mocking, the spirit of mocking Christianity, he or she you learn a lot. So be like this lady. She came for the first time with being harsh, defending Islam, but logic told her facts and truth in the Bible and the Quran, and she went there back and she started digging for herself for the truth. And later, look at her. The personality has changed. So please be willing to learn, even if it hurts your theology or your mental. Just be willing to learn. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like. God bless you.